evening. This is Melissa Johnson here for episode 61 of Melissa Loves to Talk. Today is March 27th, 2026. I am struggling today with these allergies. I'm not sure how everybody else is doing, but I'm struggling a little bit. Throat's very, very itchy. I've been coughing a little bit, sneezing a lot. Um, Usually my problem is not in the spring, it's in the fall, but I guess this year, I think the count is like orange here. So that might be why. So I'm going to do my best. Hope everyone had a great week. Not sure what everybody's planning on the weekend. I know there's, a whole bunch of No Kings rallies going on. Not sure if, anybody wants to go out and protest those. I was trying to see if I could get some people together, but most of the people are far away, and I don't really want to go far away. So, I don't know. I might see if there's some a little bit closer tomorrow to, have my American flags and all that stuff, but we'll see. Today I'm going to talk about something kind of weird. It's something that I've always thought about a lot, and my friend sent me a text and asked if it would be something I would want to talk about. So, sure, because I'm really interested in learning more about this. So, um, especially because we always thought like deja vu was like something that happened already and we're remembering it. And then someone said, oh, it's something that's going to happen in the future. So you're kind of like seeing the future. So I haven't really looked at anything that I've researched because I'm going to look at it on here and just see um, exactly what it says. And I've also looked up some stuff about dreams. So I did deja vu like from a worldly perspective, and then I've looked up deja vu from a godly perspective, and I did the same thing with dreams. So we'll look at all that stuff and see, because it's very fascinating, because I do feel like I get it a lot, and then sometimes I can't, it felt like it happened, but then I'm thinking I had a dream. So like it's almost like, okay, I had a dream this was going to happen. So kind of weird. So it's very crazy. But the spiritual world is crazy. Supernatural things are crazy. It's things we can't explain. So, but I'm going to look at the worldly, how the worldly description says deja vu is, and then what the godly version is, because the world always has a counterfeit of godly things. So then I'll just talk about the differences. Okay, so when I looked up deja vu, this is just literally, I guess, technically AI. So, deja vu is a sensation of having already experienced a current situation, even though it's objectively new. Like I said, it's like, oh, I feel like I did this, been here, done that. Deja vu, a French term meaning already seen, is a phenomenon where a person feels that a present experience has occurred before, despite no actual prior encounter with the situation. It is essentially a false sensation of familiarity, where the brain misinterprets new experiences as familiar, creating a fleeting illusion of memory. Most episodes last only a few seconds or minutes, though the feeling can linger in a memory. So we'll always be like, oh, deja vu, We've said that a long time. Okay, it says who experiences. Approximately 60 to 97% of people report experiencing deja vu at least once in their lives, with the phenomenon being most common in young adults, age 15 to 25. People who travel frequently, watch films often, or recall dreams regularly are more likely to experience. fatigue, stress, and sleep deprivation can cause increased susceptibility. That's interesting. So that's pretty interesting because I feel like I have deja vu a lot more now. So it may be something totally different. So deja vu is a to thought to result from miscommunication between brain regions involved in a memory and perception, particularly in the temporal lobe and the hippocampus. Sorry. This misfire can blur the line between memory and new experience, producing a strong sense of familiarity without a clear source. Several theories explain its occurrences. Dual processing. The brain processes information slightly out of sync, causing new experience to feel familiar. Memory overlap. Current experiences may resemble past memories, triggering a false sense of recollection. That's pretty fascinating. Neurological factors. Deja vu can occur during temporal lobe epilepsy or migraines with, I guess, aura, where abnormal electrical activities in the brain creates the sensation. Psychological influences, stress, fatigue, and dopamine levels can heighten the likelihood of experienced deja vu. Of course, I'm gonna. It says it's harmless. It said, however, frequent or persistent episodes may indicate underlying neurological conditions such as epilepsy or rarely dementia. In typical causes, it is a normal cognitive phenomenon reflecting the brain's complex memory and recognition systems. So pretty much, it's just is your brain's trying to process two things at once. I guess the way I take it. Okay, so this is a scientific thing that someone proved through science, which not saying it's wrong. Let's see what the godly perspective is. The term deja vu refers to the sensation of feeling familiar with a situation that seems new to you. It is often interpreted as a cognitive glitch or a spiritual sign, suggesting a connection to higher understanding or divine guidance. Biblical perspectives. While the Bible does not explicitly mention deja vu, it emphasizes the cylindrical nature of experiences as seen in Ecclesiastes 1:9, which states that nothing is new under the sun. Spiritual interpretations. Many view deja vu as divine nudges, urging self-reflection and exploration of life choices, indicating a connection to spiritual understanding. That's interesting. Psychological factors. Research suggests that the stress and fatigue can trigger deja vu episodes, indicating the influence of emotional and mental situations on these experiences or states. Sorry. Overall, deja vu can serve as a reminder of the patterns and cycles in life, prompting individuals to reflect on their experiences and decisions. This one, it's not really giving me. Okay, let me see if I can read this. It's very small. The Bible doesn't specifically mention deja vu, but it does feature verses that relate to the concept and point you toward God's wisdom regarding deja vu experiences. When you feel deja vu, that helps remind you of your deep connection to God and others throughout time. Deja vu moments can inspire you with awe and strengthen your faith as you seek. Interesting. There's some videos. I'm not gonna play all the videos and stuff like that, but so this is more saying, see, I'm confused by this. This is just saying it's a feeling of something being familiar, and it's more like a glitch in your brain. But it also could be showing you something like, hey, or reminding or pointing you toward God or toward a situation is the way I take it from this. This is very vague. Not really what I'm looking for. If this is helpful. Have you ever experienced the strange feeling of having lived a moment before? It's called deja vu, and it can leave you scratching your head. Many people wonder if it's this phenomenon has any connection to faith or spirituality. If you're curious about what the Bible says on this topic, you're not alone. Okay. So, deja vu explained. Deja vu is a phenomenon characterized by the feeling of experiencing a situation that feels familiar, often interpreted as a cognitive glitch or spiritual sign. So, I feel like this is more like it's the gift of prophecy almost, or knowledge. That's what I feel like this is kind of like. You're getting a vision of something that's going to happen. So it could be either one. Like it says, a cognitive glitch. So it could just be like you're really tired and you're not thinking straight. Biblical perspectives. While the Bible doesn't explicitly mention deja vu, which I said before, Ecclesiastes 1:9 implements the cylindrical nature of experiences, which relates to feelings of familiarity. Many view deja vu as a divine nudge, urging, yes, this is the same exact thing. Again, it's saying like if you're exhausted, you need sleep, you're going through something, this may happen a lot more. Okay. So, importance of memory. The Bible emphasized the significance of memory and faith as soon as seen in verses like Deuteronomy 6:12, which highlights remembering God's deeds and their relevance to personal experiences. When experiencing deja vu, pausing to reflect on thoughts and feelings can provide deeper insight and enhance spiritual awareness. So, I feel like this isn't really like helping you. Yeah, this is saying deja vu is a fascinating experience that many people encounter. It can manifest a strong sense of familiarity in a situation that is actually new. While science often explains this as a cognitive glitch, some seek interpretations that connect these moments to spiritual beliefs. Okay, so it's not really. Yeah, so the biblical is more like I said, it could be really you're just needing sleep and you're having a rough time right now. Or it's you're actually seeing it's a word of knowledge or it's a word of prophecy, you know, this is going to happen. Or, you know, like I did something, I was waiting for a check. And I think I had a dream that I got the check and I threw it away. So then when I talked to other people that went with me, we were all supposed to be getting the check. They said, "Oh yeah, I think I threw mine away." It was like crazy, and we were all like sending pictures of it, and I had not thrown it away. So it was like, okay, so I must have had a dream about all this happening. It just happened in a different way than it did in my dream. So that was more like, so that's why I said I was kind of confused because I was like, did this happen or was it a dream or was it deja vu? You know, it was kind of like all that, like, what is going on right now? So that was very weird. But that happens a lot with dreams. So that's why I was thinking I'm going to look up dreams too, because that happens a lot. It's like, was it a dream or did it really happen? And I think deja vu kind of clicks all into that too, because deja vu is more like I've remembered that happening and I thought it happened, um, but you didn't remember it until you did it again or something. You know, that's what we always thought. We were like, hey, I remember doing this before. But so it's just, it's a brain thing. So that's why it's so crazy, because our brain is so sophisticated that it could just be you need sleep and you're just having some weird things going on in your brain, or it could actually be a word of knowledge, a word of prophecy, where you're like, oh, this might happen. This is about to happen. Or, you know, and that's like it says, hey, maybe should start changing. I need to do something else. Or, you know what I mean? Like if you see something bad and you're like, oh, well, I don't want that to happen. Maybe I should start changing. So I kind of take it like that. Like it could be those things. Uh, but I'm going to look up dreams and see, again, I'm going to do the worldly dreams and then what it says, like in the Bible. Again, deja vu was a little bit different because it's not in the Bible. So it was more like you can say it's here and that's what it means. So sorry, I'm about to choke. Okay. I think I'm okay for now. So I'm going to go and look at dreams. Okay, now this is the sleep doctor. So this is, you know, just literally scientific dreams, why they happen, and what they mean. So this says dreams are mental, emotional, or sensory experiences that take place during sleep. Dreams are the most common and intense during REM sleep when brain activity increases, but no one knows for sure why we dream. Dreaming is normal and healthy, but frequent nightmares can interfere with sleep. Waking up gradually and journaling your dreams may help you remember them better, which is what I always think I want to do and I never do. Because sometimes I don't dream and sometimes I just have really weird dreams. Dreams are one of the most fascinating and mystifying aspects of sleep. Since Sigmund Freud helped draw attention to the potential importance of dreams in the late 19th century, considerable research has worked to unravel both the neuroscience and psychology of dreams. Despite this advancing scientific knowledge, there is much that remains unknown about both sleep and dreams. Even the most fundamental question, why do we dream at all, is still subject to significant debate. While everyone dreams, the content of those dreams and their effect on sleep can vary dramatically from person to person. Even though there's no simple explanation for the meaning and purpose of dreams, it's helpful to understand the basics of dreams, the potential impact of nightmares, and steps that you can take to dream better with sweet dreams. Okay, this is the part I was looking for. Dreams are images, thoughts, or feelings that occur during sleep. Visual imagery is the most common, but dreams can involve all of the senses. Most people dream in color while others dream in black and white. And people who are blind tend to have more dream components related to sound, taste, and smell. Studies have revealed diverse types of dream content. Both some typical characteristics of dreaming include it has a first person perspective, it is voluntary, the content may be illogical or even incoherent. The content includes other people who interact with the dreamer and one another. It provokes strong emotions. Events of waking life are incorporate it into content. Although these features are not universal, they are found at least in some extent in most normal dreams. Okay, why we dream. I'm not going to play the video, I'll just read. Building memory. Dreaming has been associated with conciliation of memory, which suggests that dreaming may serve an important cognitive function of strengthening memory and informational recall. Which I figured that because that's kind of like your subconscious processing emotion, the ability to engage with and rehearse feelings in different imaged contexts may be part of the brain's method for managing emotions. Mental housekeeping. Periods of dreaming can be the brain's way of straightening up, clearing away partial, erroneous, and unnecessary information. That's interesting. Instant replay. Dream content can be a form of distorted instant replay in which recent events are viewed and analyzed. I do that a lot. So stuff that might happen a day or two before, I'll dream about them, it'll just be different. Incidental brain activity. This view holds that dreaming is just a byproduct of sleeping that has no essential purpose or meaning, which I don't believe that. Experts in the fields of neuroscience and psychology continue to conduct experiments to discover what is happening in the brain during sleep. But even with ongoing research, it may be impossible to conclusively provide any theory for why we dream. So, okay, does it impact your sleep? And then that's probably all I'm going to do on this, and then we'll go to the other one. Okay, on average, most people dream for around 2 hours per night. Dreaming can happen during any stage of sleep, but dreams are the most prolific and intense during the rapid eye movement REM stage. During the REM stage, sleep stage, brain activity ramps up considerably comparing to the non-REM stages, which helps explain the distinct types of dreaming during these stages. Dreams during REM sleep are typically more vivid, fantastical, and or bizarre, even though they may involve elements of waking life. By contrast, non-REM dreams, or REM, dreams tend to involve more coherent content that involves thoughts or memories grounded to specific time and place. Interesting. REM sleeping is not distributed evenly through the night. The majority of REM sleeping happens during the second half of a normal period sleep, which means that dreaming tends to be concentrated in the hours before waking up. Interesting. Did not know all that. Dreams, of course, I know that's going to be okay. So we're not going to talk about all that. I just wanted to kind of just see what they said about dreaming, why we dream. So it's very hard, I guess, to tell exactly why, because it's no set way or time or certain people. It's like it's pretty much everyone dreams. It just matters if you remember the dream and stuff like that. So they're saying everyone dreams. You just don't always remember it. That's why they're saying if you wake up, you can hurry up and write it down, and then you may remember it. Okay, and then we'll do, this is definitely, we know dreams are definitely in the Bible. Okay, so interpreting dreams from a biblical Christian perspective involves a careful examination of the dream content, symbols, and the context in which it occurs. Here are some key points to consider. Test against scripture. Compare the dream's content with biblical teachings to determine if it aligns with God's word, which I have myself never done this, and I want to do it all the time, but sometimes I can only remember really small details of the dream. And so I'm like, I wouldn't even know what to look up. Okay. So look at the dream's fruits. Dreams that promote positive virtues like love, joy, and peace are likely from God. Obvious. Okay. Analyze the motives and themes. Ensure the dream's messages are consistent with God's principles. Again, that's obvious. And then, as for discernment, seek the Holy Spirit's guidance to understand the dream's intended meaning. So, yes, I have done that before, but wasn't really like listening. Recognize divine signs. Dreams that leave a sense of peace and clarity are often from God. By following these guidelines, you can discern whether a dream is from God and gain valuable insights for life. So, I was looking to see where scripture was, but it's not really giving me any scripture. I mean, obviously, we know, Joseph interpreted dreams. I mean, his dreams weren't always good that he was interpreting either. And then, of course, visions are, I have those a lot. Okay, I don't know what all this means. Oh, there's a little X. I just saw that. Oh. Can I not get out of here? Shoot. Okay. Okay, I can't do that because I can't get rid of that. See this. This will, no, this is it. Okay. It's let me. Okay, so of course, there's lots of scriptures about dreams. Like I said, Joseph, Daniel, and then of course Joseph in the New Testament, Pontius Pilate's wife. It's in Acts, Ecclesiastes, Jeremiah. So there's a lot of things about dreams that way. And again, it was but it doesn't really say exactly. I guess you probably have them for the reason you would think. Okay, it's a warning. It's something good's gonna happen. It's telling you in advance. Like God speaking through dreams is like what it says. It could be something for somebody else. You're having a dream about someone and they need to know. And because you're a person that's listening and you're a person that will understand. Like I had this dream years ago. I was working at Steak and Shake and I worked with this guy. I didn't know him that well. We just worked together. But I had this dream that his mother, I guess it was his mother, it was a woman. She sounded kind of older and she just kept screaming his name, screaming his name. And so it was very weird because I was like, okay, I don't even know this guy that well. It's very bizarre. So it was very weird to go up to the guy at work and tell him about it. I was like, I kind of think it might have been in your mother. She kind of sounded like she was older. I mean, like, do you have a good relationship with your mother? And he's like she was saying his full name. Of course, he went by a nickname at work. And she said, well, she doesn't even call me by my full name. She calls me by my nickname. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe she's, something's going on. She's afraid. Maybe, she needs you for something. He's like, yeah, I don't have that good of a relationship with my mom. And I was like, well, maybe that's what it is. It's maybe you need a good relationship. Maybe something's going on. So it was very weird. But I went up to him and I talked to him about it. I never asked him about it after that. I kind of thought like, okay, well, if he went and something crazy happened, he would come up to me and say it. But I never actually asked him about it. And I should have, just kind of for my own, just to know, because I think about that a lot. It's different when you're in church and like God's go like, hey, go say such and such to so and so. That's a little different. You're in church. It wouldn't be so weird. But when you're, in the world and people are like what are you even talking about? Like, he wasn't rude to me or anything. He just thought it, I'm sure he was, thought I was crazy. I'm not sure, but, um, I, I don't know. I mean, I've had a couple dreams that were kind of like that, that were, I felt like they meant something, but I have not looked into it, and I guess I should. I should probably, if I have a dream like that, write it down, look it up, ask what God thinks, or if He can tell me what it means, because that's definitely a way God does speak to us. Apparently, you could see in the Bible, there's lots of things where people had dreams, and then there's a lots of times when people had visions. So it's just it just depends. Are you a person that would listen better while you're awake, or a person that listens better while you're asleep? I almost think it has to do with that. It's like, well, you're sleeping, so God can give you any kind of dream because you're sleeping. You can't help it. Not that I really think He works that way, but it's interesting to think He might. But yeah, so dreams are interesting. I had a book about dreams. I don't know what I did with it. I had never even read it. Sorry. But I used to have a lot of crazy dreams, and that's why I got the book. It was years and years and years ago, and I never even read it. But then I stopped having the really crazy dreams, and like I said, I've had dreams that I think like, okay, well, they probably mean something. I probably should, you know, ask the Lord, research, whatever. And I have not done that. Besides, like I said, when I had the dream about when the guy at work, it was very weird. Off the, I mean, I don't know. It was the weirdest dream probably I've ever had in my life. But I've had lots of times when I've had visions. I've had lots of different visions. So that to me is a little bit different. And I've definitely felt like I've had deja vu. So when my friend said, hey, maybe you want to talk about deja vu, I thought that was pretty interesting because it was something that I was very curious about. So what I got from everything that I've read today is deja vu is could be something that's brought on from being sleep deprived, you know, just having a lot of stuff going on, like emotions. So then you're probably starting to make things up. You know what I mean? Like you're starting to imagine things. I've been there, done that, where I, started imagining things that weren't happening, or what if, what if, what if. So I think that to me, that might be where it kind of was going by reading it, is kind of like, okay, your brain's thinking two things at one time. And it doesn't mean necessarily like it has happened before, but it could. So it was that either way, even as a worldly perspective or godly perspective, it was almost the same. Like this could be something that's going to happen, and you're seeing it ahead of time. It's not necessarily that something has already happened, which I'm assuming that that probably is part of it. It's like, okay, like it said, is part of it happened before, and then your brain's making up the rest. Like you go to a place that you went to before, and then you're like, oh, deja vu. But it wasn't that it's because you were there before. It just made you think of something that happened when you went there before. So it wasn't necessarily, I don't know. Our brain is so crazy that it's so hard to really understand. That's why, like she said, like the article was like, they really don't know exactly why we dream and exactly why we have deja vu. It was more just the brain tries to cope or the brain tries to interpret. So that's why it's like, okay, well, I'm haven't really slept in a couple days. I'm starting to have weird visions. So maybe sometimes some of those might be deja vu. I don't know. I feel like they don't really have a clear answer for either one. So I'm sorry, Tanya, I don't really have a real answer. I looked up both perspectives. I did a worldly perspective and a godly perspective. And it was kind of like more your brain is so complex that it just can't tell you the right answer. And the Bible doesn't really talk about deja vu. It just says, okay, everything's already happened before that you've experienced. So you could be rethinking it, or I don't know. It's very hard to know exactly how the brain functions and interprets thoughts or actions and stuff like that. So, but it does make me think more about dreams instead of thinking about deja vu, but it makes me think more about dreams. Like maybe I should do more of trying to remember my dreams, writing down my dreams, because I think that might have to do with deja vu also. Because, like I said in the beginning, is sometimes I think, did I dream that? Did this already happen? Is it deja vu? It's kind of like sometimes it all blurs together. And so I'm not sure if that is because it's literally the spiritual world, like I'm seeing everything all at once, or it is like a word of knowledge, a word of prophecy. I think it's all of that. It's like, hey, this is something that's going to happen or something that's already happened. Maybe, like I said, it makes you think about things that you've done, reflect back to God. So I don't know. It's stuff with the brain. I don't think people really have that much understanding when you think about the physical brain. That's why the article said, like, we're not sure really why people dream. It's probably the same concept on we're not really sure why people have deja vu, because it's all in your brain. Of course, lack of sleep, a lot of emotional stuff, a lot of physical stuff. Could be sickness. You could be having like crazy deja vu when you're sick or having crazy dreams. I feel like it's all kind of the same concept. I'm not really sure. Honestly, I'm not really sure. I didn't really get anything out of what I read that I didn't already kind of know. Except for there was a couple things that was interesting. You know, it's like I didn't know, like everyone always dreams every night. I didn't know that, because some people say, "Oh, I never dream." It's just you just don't remember them. And then it said when you specifically dream, which is kind of interesting. Because of course, when you're sleeping, you don't know how long you've been sleeping. Like I'll wake up sometimes thinking I've been sleeping for hours. I'll look at my phone and it's been 2 hours. So you don't know really how long you've been sleeping, but it's very interesting that most of the time you only dream at certain times. So the way I take it is you dream when you're not completely asleep, which is what I thought. But yeah, the deja vu, I'm not really sure. I'm still kind of confused about that. So I might have to do a little bit more research, do a little bit of hard dig, because it was very vague on really what it actually is. I think it's more, again, like dreams. So it could be something that's happened and you're rethinking it. it's something that could happen, or it's something that's just giving you a nudge to be like, do you remember? Even if it wasn't something that happened. Because it did say when I read it, it was like, it's not always specifically something that happened, which again, I think it's weird. I'm really not understanding. I think it's our brains are just so complex that even people that are, brain doctors, not necessarily neurosurgeons, but just people that study the brain really don't probably know as much as you would think that they would know about the brain. Like they said, they can't tell you why people dream. You would think after all these years they would know that. But I don't know how they would come to the conclusion on why we dream. Like, of course, there's many reasons. Like I said, godly wise, God gives you dreams. It's either a prophecy, it's a word of knowledge, it's you're thinking things that happened before, which sometimes are a good dream, a bad dream. We kind of know why we dream. To if you look at it at a godly perspective. But as to say why, if you're looking at it like, why does your brain work that way, would be more of a scientific. So, godly, we know why we dream. But if it's not a dream from God, then where did the dream come from? But they can't really tell you that. Like, why do we dream? Again, it's some of the reasons I said, which is what the godly version of. Of course, we know a lot of times why we have nightmares is we watch something we weren't supposed to watch. Something bad happened to us. We know a lot of times why we have nightmares. So a lot of things I feel like I didn't really help. I'm sorry. I tried. Like I said, I may do some more research and maybe do another episode of this because I feel like I have more questions than when I started. So, but I definitely feel like the deja vu and the dreams are connected somehow. So I'm glad I did it that way so that I could compare. But I understand dreams a little bit more than deja vu, but at the same time, I don't understand dreams either. Unless I know, hey, this dream was definitely a godly dream. Like it said, it's a dream from God. It makes you feel good. It specifically says, hey, this is what you should do, or whatever. But some dreams you're like, that was the dumbest dream I've ever had. Why did I have a dream like that? That's so dumb. Like, we have lots of dreams like those, right? And the same thing like deja vu. Why would it be something? Oh, I went to this restaurant and I remembered something from the restaurant. Or, I think there's sometimes I've went places that I said, oh, this is deja vu, and it's places I've never been to. So that's where I'm kind of confused on, where that could be a vision, again, a word of knowledge, a word of prophecy. I think that all literally entwines with each other, just not sure how. So I will definitely do some more research and definitely do another episode on this. But my throat is really sore and my table group is tonight. So I'm going to get off. And tomorrow I will probably try to find some crazy videos of the No Kings protest tomorrow and show some of those and just have fun with those. I was thinking about going to one encounter or protesting if I can get some people to go with me. But I'm not sure. It just depends because I probably need to rest some, but we'll see. Like familiar spirits could be, definitely could be. Um, Definitely, I've been in restaurants. I'm using restaurants a lot just because I don't know, that keeps popping in my head. But like I've been to a restaurant and I know I never been there before. I know I never want to go back, but it did kind of seem familiar. So that could be the reason. Could be familiar spirits, not necessarily the place. So that's a good interpretation of like, okay, well, I've not been here before, but I know that spirit that's here. So that's a good interpretation. That's definitely not what it said in anything that I looked up, just by Googling. Um, it didn't say anything like that, but that could definitely be an option of, okay, I haven't been here before, but something feels, or like I know something's here. That could be definitely what it is when you feel like, oh, I've been here before. It could just be literally, you know, good or bad, good or bad spirit that you're like, maybe I'm just remembering the feeling that I felt when I was here last time. You know, again, definitely could be bad. And then you're like, okay, I'm never going back there again, which is how I felt about the one restaurant I went to. The food was good, but I didn't like the atmosphere. And I definitely felt like spiritual stuff not good. I hated that the food was good because I was like, yeah, I'm not going back there. You can eat outside, and I have thought like, how about if I go and eat outside and see how it is? But I also don't want to be giving my money to people like that have that stuff going on in their restaurant. That's why I don't go to Starbucks. So thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that I really didn't seem to get any new information, I feel like, but I will definitely do some more research. And I hope that you have a safe evening. Be blessed. And I hope to see you tomorrow.